This should be fun. Hopefully this will be helpful. I want to go through and take you through step by step of an example of a session that I had with somebody. And we're going to go over the one skill. We talk about gliding as two parts, our lean and our momentum, and two, our propulsion. I'm going to go over the propulsion aspect, showing how we can diagnose somebody as bounding, what they're actually doing that's contributing or causing the bounding, and then what can we actually do or undo to try to learn the skill to maximize horizontal movement. So first thing that you'll notice is he's in this mid stance position. He's just balanced on his right leg. And this is easier to look at, right? If you just watch somebody go in slow motion, stop at some random spot, what are you even looking at? This is relatable. We can picture him right now standing, just balancing on his right leg. He's at his lowest point in the run. Both arms and legs or thighs are parallel. So I draw a horizontal line at eye level just to get a visualization, to get some reference point. And so I want to see when he goes to leave the ground, what happens? Ideally, when he leaves the ground, it should be purely horizontal movement, moving forward and down, not up and forward and then down. So let's take a look. What I'll find is what I call peak vertical height. At this point, head's at the highest position. How I diagnose or screen for bounding or blending, jumping, and running is at this point, peak vertical, if the back toe is off of the ground, that's diagnosed as bounding. Or ideally, at that peak height, the back toe is still grounded. And what that means is then when the foot comes off the ground, it's pure horizontal movement because they're already at their peak height. So if you look at the key differences here on the side, what you'll notice is on the left, the efficient, my back toe is still grounded. On the right, my back toe is off of the ground. If you first look at the back toe off the ground, and then second, the wrist. So I always talk about the wrist. Ideally, the wrist should stay below the elbows. Arms are going sliding or swinging forward and back like a handsaw, not up and down like axing. So you'll notice in the picture where I'm inefficient jumping, my wrist is also above my elbow, meaning I'm going vertical or going up. Versus the efficient, where I'm gliding, my wrist stays below my elbow, my back toe is still grounded, when my body, my head is at peak vertical height. So how's this happening? Why is he doing this? Because he does a really good job of staying level, having the patience, but it's right before he goes to leave the ground where he has not yet learned the skill of pushing the ground purely back using the hips, not pushing the ground down and back. Right here with his calves, his ankles, he's pushing down and back, and as a result, going up and forward. So here's an example of me showing what's actually happening. As he's moving forward, he's pushing down and back through that foot, and you'll notice my head went up and forward, my body went up and forward. Versus using more of this hip strategy. See how my calves are quiet. I'm using my glutes. I'm using my hip. My head height went horizontal and down, not up and then down. So the key here with him, and with like everybody, this is a learned skill, is learning this, leaving the ground, moving purely horizontal, using a hip strategy, keeping the calves quiet, not allowing the knees and the quads and the ankles to push down. The only way to push down is through the knees and the ankles. The hips push backwards. Teaching that patience, the visualization of looking at something eye level in the distance, keeping it level, having the patience when you land, allow the body to continue to glide, to move forward with the appropriate lean, and then push the ground backwards. Push the ground backwards. The calves and the quads, they're not off. They're just more relaxed. They're still supportive just enough to prevent the body from collapsing, gravitational forces pulling down towards the earth, but not more than that. We're not using and shortening the muscles of the quads and the calves when it comes to the propulsion piece. Pushing the ground backwards to move forward. Paddle in the water, push the water back, move the canoe forward. So that was our big thing with them, working on the glide, take the jump out, maximize horizontal propulsion. Questions, comments, concerns? If you want to do one of these with me, let me know.